today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough, just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. A balanced meal with variation. Around or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough. Just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough. Just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR. Everything today is faster. Everything today is easier. With technology getting better, it doesn't mean we're getting healthier. While the kids are young, while the parents are working, while the stress is tough. Just remember the following. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Inspire others to do the same. The story of life is no game. Life doesn't need to end that fast. If you choose health, the longer you last. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyles. Go for a daily dose of nutrition. Go for a balanced meal with variation. Go for a run or two of exercise. Aim for healthy lifestyle. Live longer, happier, better with FNR.
Meron po yan, ma'am.
Wala kang maririnig.
Okay. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Welcome po sa ating FNRI webinar. Masaya po kami at kasama po namin kayo ngayong umaga. Sinisiguro po namin na madami po tayong matutunan sa araw na ito. Ngayong umaga po ay tatalakayin po natin ang mga dapat kainin ng isang taong may diabetes. Ang ating pong speaker sa umagang ito ay si Miss Ruby Frane. Si Miss Frane ay isang clinical dietitian at registered nutritionist dietitian at nagtatrabaho bilang senior science research specialist dito sa DOST FNRI. Halina po at pakinggan po natin ang ating lecture ni Miss Frane ngayong umagang ito.
Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Ngayong umaga, pag-uusapan po natin ang Nutritional Management for Diabetes. For the objectives, at the end of the lecture, the participants should be able to 1. Recognize the prevalence of diabetes in the country. Second is to describe the goals of medical nutrition therapy or MNT. And third, discuss the diet recommendation for persons with diabetes. According to the Department of Health, diabetes ranks 8 among the leading causes of death among Filipino adults. Over 6 million Filipinos are diagnosed to have diabetes, and that is according to the Philippine Center for Diabetes Education Foundation Incorporated 2016. The Geneva-based World Health Organization predicts that by 2030, the number of diabetics in the country will rise to 7.7 million. In the past, diabetes was known to be the disease of the affluents in industrial countries. But these days, it has become a health problem even in developing countries, including the Philippines. Now, according to the Unite for Diabetes Philippines, this is a coalition of organizations caring for individuals with diabetes. 1 out of every 5 Filipino could potentially have diabetes or pre-diabetes. This slides or figure is from DOST FNRI from the Expanded National Nutrition Survey. It shows the trends in the prevalence of high fasting blood glucose among adults 20 years old and above. If you can see, in 2003, the prevalence was 3.4%, and it rose to 7.9% in 2018. Similarly, those individuals with impaired blood glucose level, the prevalence was 2.7% and then rose to 8.2%. In these slides, you will see the overall prevalence comparing 2013 to 2018. There was an increase of 2% in the prevalence of individual adults with high fasting blood glucose among adult individual with 20 to 59 years old. If you will see in the slides, it is more prominent or highly prevalent among 50 to 59 years old, and the more male are more susceptible than female. Now let's define what is medical nutrition therapy. Medical nutrition therapy is defined as nutritional diagnostic, therapy, and counseling services for the purpose of disease management performed by nutritionist, dietitian, or nutritional professionals. Here, the dietitian identifies the nutritional problem, and then the dietitians would now develop nutrition care plan for the treatment of that condition. And then nutrition counseling is provided so that they will be guided in their day-to-day living. Now, the main goal of the medical nutrition therapy is to promote healthful eating patterns, to address individual nutrition needs, to make behavioral changes, to maintain the pleasure of eating, and to provide individuals with diabetes practical tools for day-to-day meal planning. Now, what is for what purpose? This is, of course, we want our patients with diabetes to have near normal blood glucose as much as possible. We want also for them to achieve normal lipid profile, normal blood pressure, and of course, we want to have delayed in rise or incidence of complications, and of course, for overall health, achievement of overall health. Now, the medical nutrition therapy is based on evidence findings. So, ang kailangan po sa atin kasi sa practice natin, it's not more on testimonial evidence-based, but it's more of evidence-based practice. Now, the recommendations that we will discuss later on are graded based on the level of evidence. Now, to simplify the description of this level of evidence, level A, okay, means it's strongly recommended. For B, it's moderately recommended. And for C, it's intermediate strength, okay, of recommendation. And for E, are based on expert opinion or clinical experience. Now, let's start with, next please. Let's start with the effectiveness of nutrition therapy. The recommendation is nutrition therapy is recommended for all people with diabetes as an effective component of overall treatment plan. Actually, this is not new because we know that the cornerstone of diabetes management is comprised of diet, exercise, and medication. Now, you will see that it's the level of evidence is A, meaning it has now to, we emphasize that it's become a integral component of the overall treatment of patients with diabetes. Another thing is people who have diabetes should have received individualized meal plan. Remember, there is no standard meal plan that works universally for all. Kailangan naka-individualize to because it has to be tailor fit doon sa needs ng ating patients. Now, intensive lifestyle intervention, this includes lifestyle change, physical activity, and nutrition counseling. Pag sinabi nating lifestyle change, this will include weekly self-weighing, especially dun po sa mga patients natin who are nasa overweight or obese category. Reduce intake of fast foods, okay? Because we know that these mga food items that we normally consume if we go to the restaurants are really high in fat and sodium. Regular portion sizes has to be monitored. Regular consumption of breakfast need to be done on a regular basis. And avoidance of alcohol and stress management are also part of a lifestyle change. Now, physical activity, we would recommend at least 3 to 5 times a week. And on initial, pwede po ang gawin natin is 30 minutes. Okay, and then kung kaya na natin, let's say after 3 days, then we progress it to 1 hour. Okay, basta po kailangan, it has to be done religiously at lagi pong kailangan may exercise. Hindi po pwedeng may times na meron, may times na wala. Now, in terms of nutrition counseling, the usual care is one-time, big-time visit. Pero it has been found na hindi siya ganun ka-effective. It has to be done with subsequent follow-up. So at least one initial visit and then may follow-up after, let's say, 2 weeks to a month. Okay? And the evidence of grading of evidence is A. So ibig sabihin, talagang effective na mag-i-improve ang glycemic control, ang mga lipid profile, at saka it will also improve the blood pressures. Okay? Now, when you say nutrition counseling, what are the things that we need to tackle? We need to mention about health food choices, caloric requirements, and macronutrient distributions, the number of exchanges or carbohydrate counting. Okay, reading food labels, glycemic index, regular exercise, and for those individuals that are cannot meet their adequate nutrient requirements, then a meal replacement can be suggested. Now, when we talk of food choices, okay, we need to emphasize what are the food items that you need to eat most, eat moderately, and eat the least. Okay, for those food items that you need to eat more are vegetables, legumes, lentils, noodles, rice, breads, grains, whole grain, fresh fruits. Okay, and for those food items that you may take moderately are those that are rich in protein sources like eggs, lean meat, skinless chicken, low-fat cheese, low-fat milk, and nuts. And you need to eat less or minimize the intake of sugars, salts, alcohol, butter, cream, coconut milk, and processed foods. Now, when we talk of optimal mix of macronutrients, in the study, it shows that there is no ideal percentage of carbo, protein, and fats. But the recommendation is between 45 to 65% of total calorie requirements should be coming from carbohydrate sources. And about 10 to 20% should be coming from proteins, and less than 30% of energy intake should be coming from the fat, with a grading of evidence of grade B. Now, let's talk of carbohydrates. The amount of carbohydrates may be the most important factor influencing glycemic response after eating. Okay, sa lahat po ng mga macronutrients, we know that the carbohydrates has a direct effect on the blood glucose level as compared to protein and fats. And it shows that the grading of evidence is A. Okay? So kailangan po, as much as possible, we need to monitor the carbohydrate intake. So whether by carbo counting or experience-based estimation remains a key strategy in achieving glycemic control. Now, it is also important na tinitingnan natin yung kinds of carbohydrates. Okay? We need to choose those that are complex carbohydrates over those that are simple carbohydrates. So, ano po mga example ng complex carbohydrates? Ito po yung mga patatas, mga whole grains, fruits and vegetables. As compared dito sa nakikita nyo sa slides na mga processed foods. Okay? Why? Because these mga processed foods, as mentioned, are high in sodium and high in fat content. Okay? Now, glycemic index and glycemic loads. I'm sure naririnig nyo lagi ito when we talk of diabetes management. Substituting low glycemic index or load foods for higher glycemic index foods may modestly improve glycemic control. Okay? Medyo pagdating po sa glycemic index, meron pa tayong, it's a complex topic because hindi pa rin po pare-pareho ang definition natin ng low, medium, and high when we compare that to other countries. But the level of evidence showing there's only a modest improvement in glycemic control. Now, when we talk of sucrose, individuals with diabetes need not avoid sucrose or table sugar. A small amount do not adversely affect glycemic control with a level of evidence B. So ano pong ibig sabihin nito? We can, when we provide meal plan sa ating mga pasyente, we can incorporate a certain amount, okay, or percentage coming from the sucrose kung talagang hindi nila kaya tong i-avoid totally. Okay? Basta provided that it has to be around 5 to 10% of the total calorie requirement. And what is also important, if we provide table sugar or sugar itself in the form of candies or mga chocolates, when consumed should however replace other carbohydrates in the meal plan. Okay? Fructose. Fructose consumption may result in better glycemic control compared to sugar or starch. So, kailangan kung sakaling magbibigay tayo ng meal plan, di ba normally we give 3 meals and 2 snacks. So we can now incorporate, instead of advising them to take starchy foods pagdating sa snacks, then we can substitute that with fruit. So, pwede po niyong bigyan ng, let's say, 1 apple for snacks, yung ating patients, kapag gumawa po kayo ng meal plan. Now, people should limit or avoid intake of sugar-sweetened beverages. Bakit po? Because this contains high fructose corn syrup. Okay, and this is for us or for our patients to reduce the risk of weight gain and worsening of the cardiometabolic risk profile. Ito pong mga sugar-sweetened beverages, are considered predictor or sila po ang risk contributor po ng ating obesity, overweight, and kahit nga po sa tooth decay. Okay? So, pinapaiwasan po natin sa mga patients natin with diabetes itong mga ganitong klaseng mga beverages. Now, when we talk of fiber, wala po, ang grading of evidence lang natin dito is grade C, meaning medyo limited pa yung study nito in terms of glycemic control, pero this is for the regular recommendation for public. So in general na po itong recommendation na to, that you consume 25 to 50 grams per day. Now, how do you do that? Okay, by increasing your fruits and vegetable intake to at least 5 times a day. Ngayon po, doon po sa ating Pinggang Pinoy, we ina-advocate na po natin ang pagkain ng vegetable pagdating kahit po breakfast. Okay? So, let's say you take vegetable for breakfast, it's 1, lunch, and dinner, another serving. So, that's already 3 servings. And then yung snacks mo, pwede pong gawing fruits. So, AM snacks and PM snacks. So, that's will total 5 servings a day. So, with that, you are assured that you're getting the 25 to 50 grams of fiber per day. And we know that fiber help brush off excess cholesterol sa ating blood. Now, let's talk of protein. Ang protein po, remember, we always advise to take lean cuts of meats. Bakit po? Because we know that the mga fat na nasa mga meat are considered saturated fats. And ito po yung tinatawag nating hindi magandang fats. Okay? They can increase your triglycerides and cholesterol levels. Okay? So ano po ang recommendation? For people with diabetes and at the same time with kidney disease, reducing the amount of protein, dietary protein, below usual intake is not recommended with the levels of rating of evidence A. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Di po ba kapag may mga kidney disease, ang sinasabi po sa atin ng doktor is you take low protein diet. Yung low protein, it has a certain level, okay? It has to be around 6.6 gram to 0.7 gram. So wag na po tayong bababa pa dito. So meaning, if the doctor or your dietitian tells you to eat or consume 1 matchbox size of meat for major meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, dapat po susundin natin. Huwag po nating sabihin na, naku, sabi ng doktor, low protein. Ang gagawin ko na lang, hindi na ako kakain ng protein at all. That's wrong. Okay? Kailangan, meron ka pa rin a certain amount, so don't go lower than the usual intake na nire-recommend. Because you need, kahit po ang kidneys natin nagfe-fail, we still need protein sa diet. Okay? So wala po tayong ina-advise na zero protein. It's only low protein. Alright? Now, carbohydrate sources high in protein should not be used to treat or prevent hypoglycemia. Di po ba kapag nagkakaroon ng hypoglycemia, what is the immediate na kailangan ibigay natin is sources of carbohydrates. Why? Because we need to increase yung blood sugar level niya. Because hypoglycemia is fatal. Okay? So, kailangan mahabol natin to. Now, as much as possible for mga patients natin with diabetes, they should bring anywhere, kung saan man sila pupunta, candies or mga cola or soda, na in the event na magkaroon ng hypoglycemia, meron silang pwedeng inumin. Now, ang sinasabi natin dito is, sana hindi yung mga chocolate drink ang mabigay natin. Why? Because aside from na meron siyang carbohydrates, meron din siyang certain amount of protein. And the protein does not affect increase in the blood glucose concentration. So nadidelay niya yung pag-increase natin ng blood sugar. Eh sa mga ganitong condition, kailangan nga natin immediate increase. So kailangan po plain or simple sugar lang, such as yung mga nasa soda, kung kaya, medyo matagal ang candy, kasi syempre, saka ang konti lang na amount doon, ang kailangan natin talaga mabilisan. So anything na, dito na papasok yung pwede na yung sugar-sweetened beverages, pero only on these occasions. Okay? And then, wag po natin kakalimutan na kapag umaalis tayo, we need to bring that always. Okay? Kasi we never know kung kailan bababa ang blood sugar natin. Okay? So, mga precautions po natin yan. Now, let's talk about fats. Total fat, okay, or the quality of the fat appears to be more important than the quantity. Okay? And with rating of evidence B. So, ano pong ibig sabihin nito? We are now, or we suggest that you look into the type of fat that you use for cooking or sa mga salad dressings nyo. kailangan po, it should be the MUFA or the PUFA or the monounsaturated fatty acids or the polyunsaturated fatty acids as compared to sa mga saturated fats. In people with type 2 diabetes, yung MUFA-rich sources kasi natin may benefit glycemic control and CVD risk factors. Okay? Ano pa mga example ng MUFA? Dito na po papasok yung ating olive oil, canola oil, and mga peanut oil. And then the PUFA po are all vegetable sources. Corn oil, soya oil, sunflower oil, sesame oils. Okay? Saturated fats, dietary cholesterol, and trans fat. The amount of dietary saturated fat, cholesterol, and trans fat recommendation for people with diabetes is the same as that recommended for general population. Okay? So ano po yung recommendation for general population? Your intake of fat should be less than 30% of the total energy requirements per day. And as much as possible, limit your saturated fats to 10% lang. Okay? Now, omega fatty acids. The evidence does not support recommending omega-3 fatty acid supplements for people with diabetes for the prevention or treatment of cardiovascular events. Okay? Mas nire-recommend po the use of natural sources like coming from fish or fatty fish at least 2 times per week for people with diabetes. Ano po yung mga example nito? Tuna, mackerel, salmon. So bago po tayo mag-resort into using mga supplements, we need to consider po muna yung mga whole food or natural sources. Now, this is, ang mataas po sa omega fatty acids or itong sinabi nating mga fatty fish. But there's also food rich in omega-3 fatty acids like cauliflower, walnuts, flax, oil, olive oil, soybean, and canola oils. Now, energy balance. For overweight and obese adults with diabetes, reducing energy intake is recommended to promote weight loss. Okay, so, pag meron po tayo nakitang mga, or we have a member of the family who are nasa overweight or obese category, siguro po, lalo na if it runs in the family ang diabetes, we need to advise them na talagang kailangan na po nila na mag-reduce ng weight. Okay? This is considered a risk factor, okay, yung pagiging overweight po natin. And evidence shows po na talagang they need to address this. Otherwise, nabanggit natin, no, na ang diabetes po is can lead into complications such as heart disease at sa mga kidney failure. So, para maiwasan po yan, we need to masabihan sila or magawan po ng paraan yung kanilang weight loss. Now, micronutrients and herbal supplements. Routine supplementation of antioxidants such as vitamin E, C, and carotene is not advised because of lack of evidence of efficacy and concern related to long-term safety. At ang grading of evidence po natin dyan is A. There is insufficient evidence to support the routine use of micronutrients such as chromium, magnesium, vitamin D to improve glycemic control in people with diabetes. Though ang recommendation is C, pero ang sinasabi din natin dito is you don't need to take all these supplements, okay, provided that you're eating adequately, okay, at you're taking natural foods, okay? There is also insufficient evidence to support the use of cinnamon and other herbs supplement for the treatment of diabetes. Okay? Alcohol. Okay, alcohol consumption may place people with diabetes at risk for delayed hypoglycemia, especially if taking insulin or insulin secretagogues. Ano po itong mga to? These are mga gamot para ma-facilitate yung production ng insulin. So, ang sinasabi dito, though it's grading evidence lang natin is C, pero we would not advise people with diabetes to consume or to start consuming alcohol. Though meron nagsasabi na ang alcohol is high in antioxidant, but we regard that for for persons na with normal or for normal individual na walang mga disease conditions. Okay? Now, let's define what is a drink or what is drink. Di po ba lagi natin na naririnig, drink in moderation. Pero baka hindi pa yung iba dyan alam what is, how to define a drink na moderate. Okay, so we define that, okay, for women, no more than 1 drink a day. Okay, so kung beer po ang ititake niya, dapat nasa isang bote lang or 12 ounce na regular beer. Pero sa lalaki po, then they can took maximum of 2 beers or bottles of beers. Kapag naman po sa wine, okay, 5 ounces of wine, sa babae isa, sa lalaki dalawa. And for mga 80 proof distilled spirits, again, sa babae isa, sa lalaki dalawa. Okay, so this is how you drink moderately. Kasi yung iba, pag ang measure nila ng moderately kapag kaya pa nilang tumayo, kahit naka-isang case na yan, sabi nila kaya ko pang magmaneho, so tuloy-tuloy lang. So dapat po hindi. Remember na ang alcohol is converted into fats. Okay? Now, non-nutritive sweeteners and hypocaloric sweeteners. The use of non-nutritive sweetener has potential or can potentially reduce overall calorie intake and carbohydrate intake. Okay, so kaya question po, is it safe to use? Yes. Okay, safe po siyang gamitin. Actually, ang evidence po is safe to siya for consumption up to 70 sachets for adult. Okay, and you can just imagine gaano kadami yung 70 sachet. We hardly finish 5 in a day. Siguro mga 3 nga lang eh. Okay, so safe po siya for consumption, especially if we really monitor our caloric intake. Okay? Sodium. The recommendation for the general population is to reduce sodium intake to 2,300 milligram per day. And this is also, actually, this is across all individual, hindi lang for patients with diabetes. Nire-recommend nga po ng WHO, medyo strict, nasa 2,000 milligrams. Siguro po itong 2,000 milligrams if you have already mga kidney problems. Pero kung for the general population, at the maximum po is 2,300 per day. For individual with both diabetes and hypertension, further reduction in sodium intake should be individualized. Okay? So, in summary, there is no standard meal plan for eating patterns that works universally for people with diabetes. Okay, so na-mention natin, it has to be tailored fit to individual needs, to individual person. Okay, nutrition therapy should be individualized. Portion control should be recommended for weight loss and maintenance. Okay, carbohydrate counting, foods and beverages is the greatest determinant of post-meal blood glucose level. Kaya kailangan po natuturuan natin silang mag-carbo counting. Okay, when choosing carbohydrate-containing foods, choose nutrient-dense, high fiber whenever possible, instead of processed foods and added sodium, fats, and sugars. Avoid sugar sweetened beverages. Okay, select leaner cuts of meats and meat alternatives, substituting low glycemic load foods for higher glycemic load foods may modestly improve glycemic control, substituting higher unsaturated fats, ito po yung mga MUFA and PUFA, for foods higher in trans fat or saturated fat should be done, okay, mostly on a regular basis. Okay, and then vitamins and mineral supplementation, herbal products to manage diabetes are not recommended due to lack of evidence. Moderate alcohol consumption should be consumed. However, abstention from alcohol should be advised and limit sodium intake to 2,000 to 2,300 milligrams per day. These are my references, and with that, thank you very much for listening.
So, thank you, Ma'am Ruby, for your lecture. So, we will answer some of your questions. Pwede po ba sa diabetic ang Coke Zero?
Okay, remember, ang Coke Zero is, ang ginamit na nila dito is non-nutritive sweeteners. Okay, so in the context of carbohydrates, pwede siya kasi wala siyang carbohydrates na makakapag-increase ng ating blood sugar. Pero remember, hindi lang, when you look at the Coke Zero, may mga other nutrients na meron doon, like for example, phosphorus. So, hindi natin ina-advise itong mga ganitong products on a regular basis. Siguro kung just to satisfy your craving, pwede naman. Pero to be part of a regular meal, okay, hindi natin ina-advise. Okay?
And then dun po sa moderate alcohol drinking, if not daily umiinom ng alcohol, like occasionally, is it okay na once a week? And then how many drinks for us to say it's a moderate alcohol drinking?
Okay. Kung occasional lang siya, again, ang concept natin occasional is talagang minsan lang. Baka kasi yung occasional nyo is nagiging regular, ano din siya, no? Parang part of your daily living. Kung occasional, pwede siya, as mentioned, and how moderate is moderate. Sabi natin kanina, if it is beer, is 1 glass or yung 12 ounces o isang bottle kung babae ang iinom. Kung lalaki naman, then 2 bottles at the maximum. Okay, kung 80 proof, may 80 proof liquor yan, is 1 lang din na cocktail drink sa babae and 2 sa lalaki. Yung wine naman is, again, 1 glass of wine for babae, and for male naman is at the maximum of 2 glasses ng wine. Now, kung kayo po is meron ng condition na problem sa puso, okay, or may kidney problem, may complication na po ang diabetes, we would not advise, okay, na to take alcohol even on occasional events, okay? Kasi wala naman ito madudulot, number 1, wala ito madudulot na additional benefits, okay? Pangalawa is, nabanggit natin na ang alcohol, okay, kapag you take it in excess, can be converted to fats. Remember, sa mga may diabetes, malaki po ang chances or ang risk factor nila na yung mga lipid profiles nila is not within the normal level. Okay? So, we would not advise. Pero again, if we true to our words na it's occasional, okay, at wala naman tayong complication, even if you have diabetes, then pwede siya. Basta make sure na you limit it to sa define natin na moderate drinking.
Ma'am, what is the most effective way for patients with diabetes for counseling, for them to go back and to follow the meal plans that we have prepared for them?
Okay, the usual na care na nagagawa, okay, is ito yung one time, big time, na pag nirefer ka ng doktor or sinabihan sila na you visit a dietitian, isang bagsakan lang, binibigay na lahat. Okay? Kinakounsel mo na lahat. Binibigyan mo na ng mga food avoided, at saka may meal plan na. Okay? And it has been shown sa isang study, this is around 100, in the study of France et al., 179 respondents. Dito nakita nila na yung usual care versus intensive care, ano po ang difference ng usual? Yung usual is one time. Okay? Pero yung intensive is meron silang follow-up. Okay? Yun ang nakitang mas maganda ang effect pagdating sa HbA1c. There's a reduction of 1 to 2%. Okay? Sa pagbaba ng ng HbA1c. Now, paano ang effective way? I would suggest, and this is how I practice also. First, tinitingnan mo muna yung level of readiness nila. Okay? Kailangan po ma-assess nyo kung are they ready to follow, okay, a diet meal plan. Okay? Kasi padali pong gumawa ng meal plan. Kahit gaano kaganda ang meal plan mo, if the person who will receive that is hindi ready at hindi niya naiintindihan, it's bound to fail. Okay? Hindi siya magiging successful. So, initially, itingnan mo yung readiness ng patient kung kaya. Pagkatapos, you start with reducing muna, okay, of 1 or 2 items do sa regular na ginagawa niya. So, for example, if this patient is fond of eating mga sweets, okay, so try to compromise. Okay, try mo muna, sige ma'am, how many sweets or how many, let's say, chocolates do you finish in a day? pag sinabi ng pasyente nyo na I can finish 2 bars, okay? So, you try to compromise. Can we limit it to 1 bar? Okay? So, hindi ka agad dapat sabihin na, ma'am, wag ka na pong mag-chocolates. Okay? Kasi, most often, hindi talaga susunod yan. Kasi tinatanggalan mo sila, ito yung minsan yung pala yung comfort food nila. Okay? So, start mo na gradual. Okay? Ganun muna. Huwag ka muna magbibigay ng meal plan. Try mo muna iayos yung parang lifestyle nila in terms of food, ha? So sabihin mo, sige ma'am, cut lang tayo muna ng 1. Okay, what else? Ano po ba yung mga iba pa yung ginagawa o kinakain? Pag sabi niya, actually, lagi akong may dessert. Let's say, cakes. Okay? Or mga kung ano-anong mga sweets. Okay? So pwede mo naman sabihin na, ma'am, sige, you can still take snacks, pero pwede bang fruits na lang? Okay? So, i-guide mo sila towards healthy eating muna. Okay? Without giving any meal plan pa. Okay? Kasi mahirap sumunod eh. Hindi susunod yan. So, ganun lang muna. You try to compromise. And then, pabalikin mo after, let's say, after a month. And then, see how things goes. Okay? Tatanungin mo ngayon, the second time around na mag-visit siya, ma'am, kamusta po? Nakaya niyo po ba? Okay? Pag sinabi niya, oo, pero may times na nag-cheat ako, sige, okay lang yan. Oo, you have to recognize that. Okay? Nasabi mo, sige ma'am, okay lang yan, no worries. Kasi mahirap naman talaga pag total, sasabihin natin, huwag ka nang kumain. Sige lang ma'am. So, next is, tingin ka uli ng another thing na pwede mong i-modify. Okay? And then siguro on the third visit, saka mo na siya bigyan ng meal plan to follow. Okay, na ito po ma'am, okay, kasi tinitingnan din natin dito yung discipline ng tao kung susunod. Okay? So sabi ko nga, what is the use of giving a meal plan kung yung tao hindi siya susunod or wala siyang disiplina sa sarili niya. So yun muna yung kailangan natin ma-establish. And then, on the third visit, pag nakita mong more or less kaya niya na at medyo determined na siya to follow, then that's the time you give your meal plan. Okay? And then, pabalikin mo na lang yan after 1 to 2 months to see kung kamusta na siya. Or, you can advise them na if they have any problems, kahit wala pa yung 1 to 2 months, they can always come back to you, okay, for consult. Alright.
And then last question, ma'am, what is the recommended number of exchanges for rice and fruits for diabetic person?
Okay. Sabi natin, di ba, wala tayong a standard meal plan that works universally for all. Bakit? Kasi, remember, ang amount of carbohydrates will be based on the total caloric requirements of an individual. So, iba ang height ni Juan, okay, kay Pedro. So, definitely, iba ang magiging caloric requirement ni Juan kay Pedro. Okay? So, yung number of exchanges ni Juan, for example, his caloric intake is 2,000, at kay Pedro is, let's say, 1,700 calories, yung number of exchanges ng carbohydrates will be totally different. Pero on the average, that would be mga 7 to 8 servings a day. Okay, kasama na po yung breakfast, lunch, dinner, AM and PM snacks. Kung nag-i-insulin, meron times na sasabihin ng doktor, mag-take ka pa ng midnight snacks. Pero roughly, nasa ganong amount of servings. Pero again, hindi mo pwede sabihin na, ikaw ma'am, 7 servings, ikaw 8. Okay, or 7 servings lahat kayo sa bahay. Kasi it is based on the caloric requirements of an individual. Alright?
So, again, thank you po, Ma'am Ruby, for the lecture. So, ito yung website ng IFNRI. So, maraming salamat po ulit, Ma'am Ruby, para po sa inyong lecture. Huwag po nating kalimutang sagutan ang process at evaluation form para po makakuha ng Certificate of Participation. PD units for this webinar. Sa Monday po ulit, samahan niyo po ulit kami sa September 30 para po ulit sa isang webinar para naman po i-share po sa inyo ang mga pag-aaral po ng FNRI na ipinesent po last FNRI Seminar Series. Lagi pong bisitahin ang aming Facebook page para po sa mga updates galing po sa FNRI. Good morning and thank you po ulit.